Hello and welcome to Iron Port. This program is proudly brought to you by Serene Insurance, Gull PLC, the Ghana Revenue Authority, Ghana Link, Meridian Port Services, and Phoenix Insurance. Our proud media partner is the Business and Financial Times. This program is powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Now, this week we are taking a look at the transit trade, and we're looking at how to prevent diversion of cargo, the role customs would have to play. So we had in the studios Jiro Adagbeto, who is a Chief Revenue Officer and also the officer in charge of transit, as well as Eric Ejiama, who is a council member of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders. Let's take a listen.
So what's the state of the transit business in Ghana, if you would oblige us?
Yeah, transit is doing very well in Ghana. Yeah, let me be, some time ago, I joined the chorus.
Right.
And especially transit business from the ports to the hinterland.
Right.
Yeah, they say Ghana is losing the transit trade to other places. So I said, okay. And by my background, I was able to have access to the data.
Yes.
Manifest.
Right.
And I was going through the manifest. And aside, I said, wow, transshipment, Benin, transshipment, Togo, transshipment, Benin, transshipment. So it became alarming. But I said, oh, is that what is happening? But anyway, the fact that there's transshipment on the manifest to Togo and Benin doesn't mean we are losing transit trade to them. Okay. Because the vessel can call at the port, and then because we have a very good draft, about 16 meters draft.
Yes.
Yes, we are third in the sub-region. Yes. Côte d'Ivoire first, Nigeria before us. Côte d'Ivoire's 18-meter draft. Okay. So if a vessel is coming to the port and it has cargo meant for Benin and Togo, of course it will come to the closer one. Right. And drop them and go. Absolutely. So when I check, and I said, okay, that will be done. I said, okay, let me go further again to check the data. So what I did was, I checked bill of entries, that is customs declarations. Yes. That are submitted to customs. I checked 2022. Right. And I noticed that we had about 32,000 plus bill of entries. Okay. Okay. Then
for transit?
For transit.
Okay.
From only the port.
Yes.
Then I checked for 2023, and I saw an increase of 34,700.
So from 32, it came to 34.
34. Okay. And I said, okay, this is not enough. Let me go in now and check for last year, from January to first quarter. I just added 10 days about April to it. Right. And I had about 8,000 plus bill of entries.
That's from January to
10th April.
10th April.
Okay, for last year.
Yes.
And it was around 8,000 plus. Then I checked for this year. Yes. Also from January to the same date. Yes. And last year one was 6,000. Yes. And this year one was 8,000.
8,000. Okay.
So an increase of about 2,000. Yeah. Bill of entries.
From January to April.
From January to April.
Yes.
Then I said, oh, this is not bad. Then I said, no, it can be deceptive. Right. Because I know how to handle data. Right. So let me check the gross mass weight of all those BLs. Right. That's a bill of lading. The bill of entry. Okay. Okay, it's coming from the bill of lading. Yes. So it's the same thing. Yes. But they pick those from the bill of lading. So the same thing. Right. For 2023, the tonnage was 308 million metric tons.
Wow, 308 million.
Million metric tons for that short period I mentioned.
Wow.
Yes. Then I checked for the same period for this year. Yes. And that is 444 million metric tons for transit cargo through the port. Wow. And the difference is about 136,000 metric tons. So there's an increase.
Okay, so it means that it's not true. When people,
from the data.
People speculate and bandy about that we are losing.
Exactly, like I was saying, initially I joined the chorus that way, but after my checks, because I have access to data, then I realized that, oh no, so I can't go and stand somewhere and speak that way anymore.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so there's an increase rather.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so I'll come to you, Mr. Ediama, but let me still stick with you for a few minutes and find out from you how rampant this issue of diversion is in Ghana.
How
serious is it?
Not really. Not really.
Right.
But once a while, the unscrupulous guys are able to do something. Yeah, but that doesn't mean we have to relax.
Right.
Yeah, we have to step up, tighten the security so that they may not have any leeway to do whatever they would like to do.
Right.
Yeah, so I just came recently to the place, and last week we had a meeting with the stakeholders.
Right.
Because it is very, very important, because GRA, our core values, one of them, which is responsiveness.
Yes.
It means you must react quickly and professionally to your customers' need.
Right.
So that I realize that we have to engage the customers and then gather data from them.
Right.
And when we get that data from them, we can use it to the best. So when we met, GPHA even said from last November,
yes,
they saved GRA Customs Division about almost 90 million cedis.
Right.
By implementing certain measures.
Right.
And I said, no, I have to follow up. Okay. So it became my interest. So I went to the port, did my research, looked for it, and I got to know that, what they did was they request Ghana Link, our partner vendor, to start arming devices on the house-to-house containers that are moving from the transit terminal to the transit park prior to departure.
Okay.
So it curtails some of the diversion that the people may do within the first leg.
Right.
Then I said, so after investigation, I realized that it is not fully done.
Right.
So I spoke to my boss, and I told him that, okay, what we got to do is, I have requested Ghana Link. We'll be meeting tomorrow morning to ensure they have a dedicated devices, also to arm the unstuffed goods into the trucks, the open trucks, to the first leg of the transit yard.
Right.
Then they place a monitoring unit tools at the gate for customs to be monitoring the movement of the transit cargo from the terminal to the transit park.
Right.
Then there we will say for that leg, everything is complete.
Right.
Nobody can deviate from that particular route.
Correct.
Yeah. So we are going to work on that. And the other issue I've been hearing is like the overweight vehicles, overloading, when they get off en route, they also shed off the goods. You know. So I took about a couple of days at the transit park.
Yes.
And I did some feasibility studies. And I got to know that, okay, we can get a solution. Because firstly, when you submit the customs declaration, transit declaration to customs, you have to indicate something we call sub-consignment breakdown.
Right.
Actually, it is how many cargoes may go to one truck. Yeah, sometimes more than one may go to one truck depending on the bill of entry. Sometimes just one-to-one mapping. Sometimes one-to-many mapping. So when it is overweight, they go and then they shed off, and then it results into different things. So I went to the GPHA weighing room that we can curtail, we can stop that thing. So I went to the motorway weighing bridge and I had a conversation with them. So now, henceforth, when the truck is overweight, they should flag customs.
Right.
And customs will input the details of that truck, the overweight, into the system.
Right.
But it will not be approved. Movement printout will not be issued.
Right.
So until they set off the weight, and then they reweigh, and then we are flagged before it is approved, and then it leaves so that we can control the first leg movement of what people deem to be shedding off and creating problems along the way.
Right.
So these are the first two measures
you are taking.
We have taken.
All right. So, Mr. Ediama, let me come to you and take your thoughts on what you think the situation of our transit trade in Ghana is at the moment.
Thank you for having me, and a very good evening to US. I would also agree with my brother here that
Yes.
transit business is thriving well.
Right.
Only problem we are seeing
Yes.
as operators transit business
Right.
is the cost of doing the business.
Okay.
That is the major issue that we have at hand.
Okay.
Having said that,
That's the cost of doing a transit business.
yes,
Okay.
yes. Having said that, the volumes, as my brother has said, he is quoting from data that I have no
Access to
Exactly.
yes.
Exactly.
yes, but on the ground, what we know
Yes.
is that, of course, we are losing some volumes to neighboring Togo here. A typical example I can give is one major shipping line, which has been operating here over the years,
Right.
and their headquarters is newly built here
Okay.
in Tema, but they made Togo
Right.
port their hub for the whole of West Africa.
See.
Meantime, between Togo port and Tema port, when it comes to security, quality of
The
service,
port of Tema is
way ahead of.
sure.
So you ask yourself, what will advise somebody to make such a move? Definitely, there are some undertones.
Right. Do you mind sharing those undertones with us if you know them?
Not really, because the actual decision made by the shipping line, I will not know why they decide that.
Yeah.
But as an operator, we know about certain regulations that affect the transit business.
Right.
Like my brother has said, transit business is an international trade practice.
Absolutely.
And the goods are just supposed to pass through our corridor to another country. And we are obliged to facilitate that.
Right.
But you realize that if the trade is not flowing well and it is not conducive for the importer or the trader who is using the facility, they will be finding ways of reducing their problems.
Right.
Okay? So I can say that from where I sit, we are shedding some volumes to our neighboring country.
Right.
Because the Togo port itself, now they are seeing
That's the Lome port.
the Lome port. They are now seeing increase in volumes. So definitely those volumes are coming from somewhere.
And we are pretty much sure that they are coming from Ghana.
Apart from Ghana, when you take our West Coast, unless Nigeria or maybe somewhere Douala or something, or even Cote d'Ivoire.
Cote d'Ivoire.
Okay, but the actual port of preference is our Tema port
Right.
in the sub-region related to our neighboring landlocked countries, Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso,
Yeah.
Mali, and Niger. They prefer to do business here because it is safe,
Yeah.
it is secured. The only problem is the regulations and the cost. Of course, customs are mandated to regulate the trade
Absolutely.
within the laws of Ghana.
Yeah.
And no trader will kick against the laws of any country. But sometimes they go way beyond the laws and the regulations and introduce new things that are happening on the ground.
You mean customs?
Customs. A lot of things that they introduce just because of this diversion that we are discussing. But practical results has to show that the new rules and regulations they are introducing are they yielding results.
What are some of these new regulations, if you would oblige us?
Okay. They are trying to implement something like containerized
Yes, I just mentioned.
Like you have mentioned earlier on. It will not change anything. It will just increase cost of doing the business. Because we already have containerized goods that are in transit every day.
Right.
A whole ship will come and more than 100, 200, 300 containers, they are all in transit. And it's containerized.
Right.
So if you are still having problem about diversion, then you should actually look at how the operation of the whole trade is going. Not necessarily the covered means of conveying the goods.
The goods.
So contrary to some assertions out there that the ports of Ghana are losing transit cargo to neighboring ports, we heard it from the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority telling us that this assertion is not true, because indeed the metric tons yearly indicate that the transit cargoes are rather going up. So there is no way that Ghana's ports are losing cargo to other neighboring ports. Iron Port returns after this break.
Ohima, no be me take your number first. By you. You tell me say take your number give me.
Guys, no, I'm tired. I'll go on a date with whoever gets here first.
Princess, really? Okay, I dey come.
Shut up!
Mame, feel me talk na mo ati. Boss, fill my tank with Super XP Ron 95.
Fill up with Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP high performance products from Goyle.
Sorry, Tony got here first, so I'm stepping with him.
Oh, cut him. Hey, go for na buajungwa mami.
Choose Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP for an energizing driving experience. Always go for Goyle Super XP Ron 95. Goyle, good energy.
Goyle is good energy. Electricity. Then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is, you still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse, and my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance motor policy. Currently, my goods are on the IC covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance. Oh, Ajima, tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the projects and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302-246-319 or 0243-690-492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
Welcome back from the break. News and activities happening within the port and maritime industry next. The Ministry of Transport has held its 2024 strategic meeting at the Central Regional Capital of Cape Coast. The event presented the Transport Ministry and its agencies with a unique opportunity to come together to apprise themselves on the programs and projects in the ministry and agencies, the extent of implementation, challenges, and way forward. The strategic meeting was also to ensure that the sector programs and projects are aligned with the overall national vision as set out in the President's Coordinated Program of Economic and Social Development Policies. The head of the Ghana Civil Service, Dr. Evans Agredako, challenged the agencies under the Ministry of Transport to deepen professionalism, put in sustainability measures, enhance service delivery, accountability, and the use of best practices to develop the transport sector.
We need to put in sustainability measures to make our transport sector much more resilient, eco-friendlier, and much more efficient. We are fostering collaboration, and I'm happy that the key agencies are here, and even the supporting ministries or the collaborating ministries are here.
The Central Regional Minister, Juliana Marigold Hassan, has called the importance of the transport sector to every aspect of human life and the socio-economic development of the Republic of Ghana.
Transport is essential for the movement of goods and services in terms of our land, sea, air, and all, facilitating trade and commerce.
The Minister of Transport, Kuku Furi-Siama, outlined some achievements in the maritime sector.
We have constructed a new liquid bulk terminal at Takoradi Port, constructed a multi-purpose terminal at Takoradi Port, of which phase 1 has been completed. The operation will commence around July. Completed the construction of 4-bed dedicated container terminal at Tema Port MPS. Installed 16 state-of-the-art ship-to-shore cranes and 3 rubber-type gantry cranes as part of the route in the MPS terminal.
He urged the agencies to be innovative to meet the evolving needs of stakeholders and navigate the complexities of the industry. The 2024 strategic meeting of the Ministry of Transport was attended by the board chairpersons and agency heads from the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Ghana Shippers Authority, Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, Ghana Maritime Authority, among others. The Finance Ministry has announced new appointments at the Ghana Revenue Authority. The ministry, in a statement dated Tuesday, 9th April 2024, announced that Ms. Julie Isiam now heads the Ghana Revenue Authority as Commissioner General. She becomes the first woman to serve in that role and replaces Reverend Dr. Emishadai Osuamwa, who was relieved from his duties on March 27th. With a stellar career spanning several decades, Ms. Isiam promises a new era of leadership at the Ghana Revenue Authority, driven by expertise, experience, and commitment to sustainable transformation. The ministry also announced 3 others for various roles. They include Mr. Edward Apenti-Jamra, who is Commissioner of the Domestic Tax Revenue Division. Ms. Peldakon is the Commissioner of Support Services Division, whereas Brigadier General Ziblim Ayorogo is the Commissioner of Customs. The ministry said these new appointments are expected to strengthen the GRA and ensure that targets are met in an environment of professionalism, fairness, and exemplary client care. The ministry thanked the outgoing leadership of the GRA for their dedication and contributions to the nation. We have some international news next.
The Danish government has decided to ban the discharge of scrubber wash water into Danish territorial waters. From 1st July 2025, the discharge of scrubber wastewater from ships up to a distance of 12 nautical miles from the Danish coast will be prohibited by law. This is the content of a new political agreement concluded by the government and its stakeholders. Ships can use scrubbers to remove sulfur from the exhaust gases resulting from the combustion of heavy fuel oil.
Coming up is the word of the day.
Damage. Damage refers to wood or other material used in stowing ship cargo to prevent its movement.
It's time for the schedules of vessels in the port, those at anchorage and those expected in the coming week, plus the Bank of Ghana exchange rate you need to know to clear your goods from the port next. Your comments are next.
A forwarder says, our principal consideration in assessing mediums to facilitate any form of trade is putting measures in place to reduce the cost of doing business along the trade facilitation chain, prioritizing operational efficiency. In the specific case of transit trade, the practice of employing human escorts is no longer applicable. The certification of tracking devices allows customs to monitor cargo and prevent diversion, thereby reducing costs. Why pay for human escorts and a tracking device? Let's put our human resource to better use than putting them on cargo trucks in the name of escorting cargo.
So that's all for this week's episode of Eye on Port. Thank you for watching and thanks to the entire crew. Join us same time next week.